So it seems like the time, not the time yet, is not changed yet, but it's starting to become, daylight a lot sooner now, and that's good. But at the same time, that leads to Atlanta traffic. Oh my gosh. Um, so today, though, as I drive into work, I want to quickly talk about emotions and the biochemical. I think everyone, like, I really do wish there was health class in schools. That's one of the things that has been missing, in my opinion. And I kind of throw it in there now because I think kids need to know and adults need to know. All right. So things like wash your hands, it's crazy out here. So when it comes to emotions and your biochemicals, I think there's been, like, the stereotypes of things like women, like people demonize women for having mood swings or whatever because of their hormones. But the thing is, everybody has hormones, and your emotions either activate hormones or they are the results of your hormones, right? So women know this. I think more people need to be aware of this. So men have hormones too. And your anger is a hormonal activator and response, okay? That's an emotion, okay? Your happiness is an emotion. It can be a trigger or a response to your hormones. So it's almost like, the best way I can describe it is it does both. It activates emotions, your hormones, or your emotions activate the hormones. If I hope I said that right. So you can teach yourself to activate your hormones through your emotions, through physical activity. That's why people say things like exercise is good for mental health. Um, let's say, for example, endorphins. So, since I'm on exercise, so endorphins are the happiness hormone. And to activate those things, you exercise, you may dance, um, play games, non competitively, of course. And then there's oxytocin. That's I guess, the love hormone. And most people activate that through things like physical touch, as in hugs, hand holding, having a pet and petting that pet. Oxytocin, happiness. So that's what I mean by the hormones can be both. If you're already doing those things naturally, of course, you're going to activate those hormones. But if you're not doing those things and you're stressed or you're upset or you're depressed, then you go do those things to activate those hormones. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. So that's a simple, I guess, emotion hack, biohack that you can do. So, I call it the joy bucket. So I may make a handout for that. So, especially for my students, but it could be something that everybody can use. Like, if you are a person who don't know what to do when you're feeling depressed, you go into your joy bucket. You go figure out, like, what it is that you enjoy doing, and then you go do those things. If you feel like you're not feeling loved or whatever, you go into that joy bucket and you go do the healthy things. Now, of course, there are things like the adult pictures. See, I don't want to go too deep into that. Adult pictures and videos, you don't want to do that. I mean, because what happens is then you overuse certain hormones, and then you find yourself depleted, and then you're in a weird, unhealthy cycle. Same is true for gaming. I'm just going to be honest. If you're doing too much gaming and you're overexhausting certain hormones, same, okay? It turns into things like overeating, gambling, shopping, over shopping, and like I said, adult pictures, those kinds of things. You want a balance, okay? You have to address also, well, what's causing you to want to do these things that are like too harmful, right? And that's again where those who are, I don't want to say healthy, but more aware of their situation, and they feel like they can try to put a face to their mental awareness and health, that you start doing inner work, you start doing shadow work, mirror work. Like if you are a person that it's like, you know what, I want to do better. Just like physical exercise, if you want to do, just like going to the gym, lifting weights, that's the one that's most common. Oh, thank you for asking. So I just dropped off some things for him. Today is day 4 of the protocol for the smoothies. Last night, I think he was upset yesterday. Something happened, and I'm starting to be more aware of that, and I'm trying to make him more aware of that when something happens that he gets upset about, and then he'll go and do something that's not helpful to himself. So he went out walking and did not come back until later. It wasn't too late, so I didn't talk too much about it. And then once I realized, after having a little bit of a conversation with him, I realized that he was not in the mood. So that was my time to be like, okay, I'll see you later, bye. But last night I was definitely worried that he would do something harmful to himself. Not too harmful, but things like, what he'll do is throw things away, things that he needs. So I was hoping that he didn't throw food away, because that's the last thing that he had done that was kind of harmful. But I came in this morning, I see that he's done a lot of writing. That's another thing he tends to do when he gets upset, writing that's not helpful writing. So he did some of those things, and then he had some food out. Wasn't the best food in the world, but he did drink these, so and thus he was more clear this morning. So he seems to be in a better mood, in a better space this morning. So yes, thank you for asking. And that's where I'm going with that. So right now he's not aware enough to know that if he's upset, maybe he needs to go do something that's more helpful rather than something destructive, right? And that's where I think we all need to do these things, to be more aware. Just like I think there's more of a culture of people being more concerned about being overweight or having muscles than really thinking about your emotional health and wellness. Like, how can you can't control what happens in the environment, right? But you can control how you react to it. I get upset, and that's what I keep telling him. It's like, but you'll never see me destroy things just because I'm mad. I may go take a walk. I may go read a book. I may go do something else, but I'm not going to do something harmful to myself just because I'm upset at something that happened, and that's the thing that I think a lot of people should start learning how to do. How to manage these emotions and how to prepare for when those things happen. That's another thing I think he is not aware of, that these emotions are just, which for him it is, kind of just wild and untamed, but he can learn to tame them. I try to model a lot of meditation around him. I don't know if he's ready for it yet. I've suggested breath work, but again, I don't think he understands what that is. He, Yeah. So the thing is, I just want him to have more emotional intelligence, that at this point he might be more open to it as he sees me model it a lot more. But yeah, that's kind of where we are right now with that. So thank you for asking. Yeah, communication is important. And that's where a lot of people, again, they don't talk about it. I am I'm in a generation where we are kind of at that cusp where people were starting to talk more about it. And you had the era of the talk shows that came out, and people started talking about issues and problems and things like that. My parents are in that generation where they didn't talk about those things. So um, I'm hoping that my brother can learn how to do that a little bit more. And then, unfortunately, again, more men tend to not want to talk about these things, even though it's important to talk about these things. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I was like, I just keep going back to this. Like, I don't feel like it's lucky. I feel like it's the tools to take care. But yes, thank you so much for asking, because, yeah, there's certain things I just cannot say that need to be said, quite honestly, that I can say freely on Substack. And if yeah, thank you again for, the concern for my brother, because yeah, and I will report back. But like I said last night, I was worried that he wouldn't take that smoothie, and I told him it's a health smoothie. Um, but he did drink it, and this morning he is definitely more clear.